Okay, so I explained a little bit about how do you define the space for a person. I explained just a little bit about how do you deal with volumes. How to get from landscapes to people. And the next problem is how do we get people to do what we want them to do? Earlier, I had a tutorial that was basically titled "How to Start a Drawing," which went over the intent of a person. Do see that again. Um, but anyway, I'm going to see if I can get all of that into a comprehensive process. So, same deal here. Staring at a blank piece of paper, everything is flat. Brain has no reason to believe that this is anything but a flat piece of paper. Throw in the landmark, define the space, figure out what is the space that my character is going to take up. After that, I have to figure out what is the intent of my character. What is he trying to do? Is he trying to kill something, eat? Is he trying to do this? Is he trying to do that? What is the intent of my character? Is he hungry? Is he tired? Is he running from something? Is he trying to escape? Why don't we try trying to escape? Okay. So a person that's trying to escape, what is he escaping from? Maybe he's escaping from a rolling boulder. He might be trying to run away from something, or maybe he's simply trying to protect himself. So a person that's protecting himself, let's say I'm going to put him on the ground and I'm going to have him protect himself from something. So if he's on the ground, I have to think what part of his body will be touching the ground that I know of for sure will be touching the ground. Let's try one of his hands. I'm going to have it support his body. Then I'm going to have to put another thing on the ground that I know will be on there. How about his lower torso? And figure out, well, then if his lower torso is there, then chances are one of his knees is going to be on the ground as well. Okay, so I'm going to have him pulling one leg further up. And let's see, I'm gonna have to figure out his upper torso. I'm gonna make that slant. No, it's not what I want. I'm gonna see if I can have him shield himself with one arm. So before I can do that, I need to connect a few forms because I can't tell what his upper torso is gonna look like. So I'm gonna go through and try and connect everything that I already see. I'm gonna turn them all into solid forms first. And then I guess I'm gonna have to, you know what he's gonna do? He's gonna have to protect his head somehow. So the big problem I don't know is where his head is. So I guess if he's here, I'm gonna have to put his head, I'm gonna have to change the pose. So if you're protecting something, he's not just protecting himself, he is protecting one part of his body. So that required me having to redo this. So in this case, I know his pelvis is down there. I know his shoulder is up here. Or even better yet, I'll just say his shoulders here, his hands here. Now I can figure out where I'm going to put his head. So I can have him, where is that head going to be relative to the shoulder? I can have it over here. I can have it up here. There's really any place that I could have his head. So let's say I put his head there. In fact, if he wants to protect his head, why don't I turn his head away? So there. I'll turn his head away from whatever it is he's trying to protect himself from. But I can have him look towards it, or I can have him brace for the impact. There, maybe that's better. Okay, now I have to figure out if that's where that is going to be his far shoulder, so then his near shoulder, where to put that. Okay, so I'm going to raise his near shoulder. I'm going to raise his elbow and have his arm, the wrist there, knuckle line. Wrist and knuckle line are the most important things. And then I can go in and I can put his hands up. Or don't be afraid to just start over. It's not like this is a masterpiece, it's just a scribble. So that's the thing with each one of these drawings, I get new ideas, I get better ideas. So I'm going to put his torso down there. This time I'm going to have him there. Let's take that head. Actually, the neck's here. I'm going to have him look away. There. So I want to have I really want to have him cover himself maybe with both arms. So I'm going to use a small joint there. I'm going to use a larger joint here. Same thing, small joint, larger joint. So he's throwing his arms out in front of himself. He doesn't want to get hit. Doesn't want his head to get hit. Anything to block the impact. I'll figure where his thumb is. So there we are. We have ourselves a storytelling pose that takes up a certain amount of space. And now I can go through. Now that I know where all of these things are because of my ground plane, I always have to constantly look around the entire image for some bit of information that I can use. Now I'm just connecting all these things. Now that I have his lower body there, I guess I'm going to have I'm going to put one knee joint up high, and the other leg I'm going to pull it forward. I'm going to pull the leg back. See, I'm going to how I crank his toe back. There. So there you have it. There's the gesture. Let's see. I can have his foot over there. I can have his foot. Maybe I'll have his foot here instead. So sometimes, you wind up moving limbs around, and this is why I don't spend too much effort in line quality. Who cares about line quality? Get form placement. Form placement will make for line placement. Once you have your line placement, then you can have line quality. Now that I have this rough sketch, if I wanted to, I can use this as a pose reference when I do something, a little bit nicer. But that's the thing. Try to figure out what it is that this guy's going to be doing, and don't bank everything on, your first sketch. Anyway, that's it. Signing off.